Hello everybody and welcome to what appears to be the 1940s. Thanks, Cities Radio. But we are currently working on a few different things here in Academiopolis, and we're actually getting kinda close-ish to the end of this series. We do have some development to do yet. We need to continue expanding out this way around the mountain, and we need to develop these two islands, and we need to develop this location. I was looking at this in between episodes, and I'm like, I kind of like the way this looks with that little dent there, but it's nice and flat over here, so maybe we just extend this highway up here, and then just develop this and build a harbor. Like, that would be fine. I'm not sure that we want to do that right now. That said, we don't have demand for things, and we do have some empty space. We need to continue expanding over here, but maybe we should just push up here. If we're going to do that, then what we do is we get rid of this turnaround, and we just extend this up over like this. Maybe up to, say, here. And then with that being there, space already occupied. That's interesting. Why is that giving us space already occupied? I'm trying to connect this in. Were we too close? That's bizarre. Okay, this game works on a different plane of existence than the normal laws of physics, I swear. So we could just take this up to, say, here, and curve it straight over to be about, say, here. And then we'd want to do the same thing over this direction. That's not quite where I wanted it to be. There we go. That's perfect. So we then just take this up here, and then we extend this straight out, like so, to about right here. We connect that in, create ourselves a bit of a turnaround, although slope too steep. Yep, I can see why. So we would need this to be right here. There we go. Perfect. And then we just develop this area first, but the harbor would be up over here. So we're going to need to create some roadways. So first things first, let's just create ourselves on the ground, not underground, but on the ground, a road going some direction. Like up in here, perhaps, a road going like that, just straight up into this area. Now that goes over the little mountain, but that's okay. I don't hate that. So, then we're going to need to, centered on the highway here, that space already occupied because we have a pillar issue, because of course we do. But centered on the highway here, we would want to create ourselves a road that goes out this direction, half of 960, which would be 480? Yes. So to there. Then we take that over, connect that back in, bring this up 960, and there we have it. Our first little guide. Now, we have a pillar basically in these roads. So let's do something along the lines of this. We're gonna have pillar issues, I guarantee you. We're gonna, of course, need to turn around this section of road. There we go. Okay, and we're not going to have any other highways up over here, I think. Technically, if the road can go over, like, say, this portion, we may be able to just grid this whole island. Do I want to do that, though? It looks like that's eminently possible. That might not be a terrible idea. We can take this up to here. And we can just do something along the lines of... That was too far. Definitely too far. So let's take this to right here instead. We can continue doing something like... Why is that space already occupied?
We can make you more money. How?
There.
It's not funny business, it's money business.
No problem.
You give your money to us and it will grow with interest. That's the plan at least.
Now that's going to go out into the water.
Imagine
We could maybe do something along the lines of that.
Imagine if you had a money pet and you fed it more money and after
Kinda like that.
digesting it would okay. You want to go money fishing, so you use a little money to catch a...
Yeah, I mean, we could grid this whole island and have quite a lot of space up here. We would only be connected via this highway, unless we were to extend this highway up over here.
We be sure that the people we leave behind don't think we're jerks. That's where final insurance
That is an interesting idea.
Peace of mind for when you rest in peace. For a small monthly sum, you can
I like that idea a lot, actually. We are going to need to remove this power line while we're working on it, and probably this road as well. But that means that we can take this all the way up over here. I want it to be snapped in straight. Okay, so it would be here. Yeah, this is a fascinating idea. So we can do something like that, and knock this back a little bit as well. Just curve this in like this approximately. I'd like it to be a sharper curve though, to be sure. So let's bring this up a little bit closer. And let's just curve it in, say, like that. And then we bring this out to this point. And bring it in, that's not where I want it to be. Out to, say, this point. To right there. And then from there we take it straight down. Just like that. Now I don't actually like where these pillars went, so we're gonna probably have to redo those, because I like the bridges to be symmetrical. So something like this, and then we can probably get it in. Yeah! That also means that it doesn't make a ton of sense to have this. That's going to be interesting trying to get that, to get an interchange done there. That might be a job for another time. I don't know, we'll have to see. So we're going to need to definitely elevate this a little bit. That is apparently as elevated as it gets. And it doesn't want to connect up. Okay. How do we want to connect this grid then? We don't need to, is the answer. We can just take this back and do that. This grid no longer needs to be connected, so we're fine on that front. Okay. So I guess, actually, this is the next thing to work on. I don't know how possible this is going to be, so we'll have to see. Now, of course, this height isn't going to work. There's no doubt about that, because we're basically identical heights. Unless this merges in. Even then, we're going to have some issues, though. So I think our standard turnaround is probably the best way to do it. Can we get this over? Even that is space already occupied. It looks to me like that has clearance, but maybe I'm wrong. We may have to come up with a different solution here. Can we fit it under? That goes underwater. So then we would want to try to get it underneath. Let's use the lowest height step, or the smallest height step. Let's take it down to the lowest point we can get it without slope too steep. We could maybe build a tunnel, but those don't really work in the water, apparently. So how do we want to do this? How indeed. Well, let's take a quick look here. That's underground. This is the lowest it would appear that we can get with a bridge material. And technically, as long as it's not in bridge form, it can get underneath it. When we extend it out to become a bridge, then we have a problem. But if we have it like this, then that works. Holy crap, okay. This is acceptable. I can work with this. Now that sloped too steep, so we're going to need to, of course, try to get this up a little bit in elevation. And that sloped too steep. And that is. Even that is. That works. Okay. And then we need to connect that in, but that sloped too steep there. Space already occupied because it became a bridge. Okay, that space already occupied because it became a bridge as well. We're going to need to extend this out as little as we can, which ultimately means we have to take this back further. To about... No, I do not want this to be at max height. You can stop that. Take this right here, and then as little distance as we can. That's actually causing issues. Okay, we'll just take it as little distance as we can. I'm going to go back to max elevation step. Okay, so here, and then here. Now that becomes a bridge, and I would prefer that it not, actually. So I'm going to go back to minimum elevation step. We can do something like this. That works fine. Then, hypothetically, what if we were to match this like that, and then bring it all the way down as much as we can to right here? Would you look at that? Then we can bring this out over this way. I want it to not become a bridge, if at all possible. And we'll revisit this ending a little bit later. But we could, from here, that's giving us space already occupied because this is a bridge. What if we were to reconstruct this so that it wasn't a bridge, at least in this area? So we would take that out of there, and then bring this in one block at a time, so that it did not quite become a bridge. Like that. Bring this over here, just enough to where it doesn't become a bridge. Just like that. Curve tool. I mean... Okay. 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 That's, not pretty, is it? Let's see if we can make it fit this one a little bit more. Nope. That's, I think, a little too wide. And it's because we've got a bit of a pillar issue here. Let's actually extend this out a little bit differently. About like so. Hopefully now we won't have too many pillar issues. Bring this out. Like, that's too long. That's about right. So now we have a guide. Too wide. That's too sharp. It's too narrow. That's about right. It's not symmetrical. It's a little too narrow on this side. So let's try something along the lines of, that would be actually perfect, but we have a pillar issue there. So let's just extend this out to be right here. And this one to be right here. That'll be close enough, I think. I hope. I wish. 90 degrees. That's too wide. Okay. Is that too wide? Yeah, that's too wide. Okay. Let's try something more like... Yeah, that's too narrow. It put this pillar back in here. I absolutely did not want the pillar there. So let's try this once more, taking this out to here. That, I think, is going to be a better pillar placement, I hope. Too wide? That's about right. It's not perfect, but it'll have to do for now. If I want to revisit it later, I can always do that. Okay, so there's a turnaround right there, and that allows us to have a little bit more throughput on this highway, and we also have a way to get off of here, and, well, 2 ways to get on and 2 ways to get off. So that's perfect. Why do we have something going on over here? Oh, this is flooding? It is indeed. Okay. I'm just going to do that so we don't have to deal with flooding. Excellent. Well, it is time to put a cut in here, so I'm going to go ahead and do that. You can leave your offerings to the engagement gods in the form of likes, comments, subscribes, and bell ringings, and I will see you all next time.